Director Robert Eggers's horror film Nosferatu has captivated the world with its spellbinding journey into the world of vampires, magic, and the dark arts. Lily Rose Depp's character, Ellen Hutter, has received especially great attention in this remake of 1922's Nosferatu. As the story makes her a much more prominent character, it puts a greater emphasis on her supernatural abilities and her relationship with Nosferatu's villainous Count Orlok. Like the original film, this remake depicts Ellen with mystical powers that make her a figure of great interest to Nosferatu's blood-sucking Orlok. Such powers are depicted differently from the versions of Ellen found in Bram Stoker's Dracula and the many other adaptations of it. Nevertheless, Ellen's abilities make her a crucial part of the story, especially in Eggers's adaptation, as they help the heroes defeat the evil vampire terrorizing Nosferatu's characters once and for all. Ellen grew up with ability to see the future. Ellen had paranormal experiences before she met Orlok in Nosferatu. Ellen Hutter, Lily Rose Depp, lying in bed, expressionless in Nosferatu. In her first meeting with Willem Dafoe's character, Professor von Franz, Ellen revealed that she had the ability to see the future for several years. She claimed to have known what her Christmas presents would be before she opened them as a child. She even knew exactly when her mother would die. Her psychic gift isn't outright stated until later in the film, but Ellen displays it in the first act of Nosferatu, stating that Thomas already had the job at Knox Agency before he arrived there. Ellen's powers remain a source of great mystery in Nosferatu. However, as an expert in the mystical field, von Franz claimed that somnambulists like Ellen often possess this psychic ability, which he describes as second sight into the borderland. He knows that as Ellen sleeps, her mind travels through the astral plane and connects with supernatural entities. Von Franz even hypothesized that Ellen has always been highly conductive to these cosmic forces that have surrounded her throughout her life, including Count Orlok. How Ellen has a psychic connection to Count Orlok. Ellen's psychic gifts drew Orlok to her, beginning their relationship. 2024's Nosferatu opens with a depressed young Ellen praying for an angel or spirit to rid her of her loneliness. Thanks to her powers, Ellen establishes a psychic connection with the demon Count Orlok from across the continent, waking him from his slumber. After Ellen pledges herself to him, Orlok binds his spirit to hers in a violent and shocking scene in Nosferatu. Their spiritual union causes Ellen to live in deep melancholy for several years until she marries Thomas and breaks her dark pact with the vampire. But as Orlok returns to take Ellen back for himself in the present day, the latter senses him from afar as he travels from Transylvania to Wisborg. He also uses their psychic bond to stalk Ellen in her dreams, making her sleepwalk at night and experience violent seizures. Orlok even made her watch through his eyes as he sucked Thomas's blood while they were still in his castle in Transylvania. As Orlok casts his shadow over Ellen's mind, he outright possesses her body multiple times in the film, speaking to von Franz during Ellen's exorcism and taunting Thomas after he returns home to Wisborg. Ellen can attract and destroy Count Orlok in Nosferatu. Orlok's greatest desire was also his greatest weakness. In the dead of night, Ellen Hutter, Lily Rose Depp, throws open the windows of her room wide open in Nosferatu. Image via focus features. After reading through Knox's mystical book about the Nosferatu, von Franz learned that a vampire like Orlok could be destroyed by a maiden fair that he finds so attractive. The villagers Thomas encountered in his travels clearly knew this as they offered a young woman to a local vampire that they killed in the middle of the night. The professor knew Ellen could offer herself to Orlok and keep him in her embrace until the first cockcrow, ending the villain's life in the rising sun and saving Wisborg from his wrath. As a result, Ellen used her psychic bond with Orlok to call him to her bedchamber from across Wisborg. Even when Orlok saw the sun rising, he couldn't resist Ellen or her blood. As Ellen beckoned his gaze to her, Orlok remained with her until they died in Nosferatu's final scene. This is how Ellen succeeded in destroying Orlok in previous versions of Nosferatu, making the remake a faithful reimagining of the classic horror movie. How Ellen's powers in Nosferatu compare to other Dracula movies. Ellen's character has many similarities and differences in other Dracula movies. Lily Rose Depp as Ellen Hutter in a wedding dress in Nosferatu. In 1922's Nosferatu, Ellen first develops her psychic connection to Orlok midway through the film. The Count isn't even aware of Ellen's existence until Thomas shows him a picture of her. As the evil vampire sucks Thomas's blood, Ellen senses this and calls out to her husband, catching Orlok's attention. The original movie doesn't explain how Ellen has psychic powers. However, in 1979's Nosferatu the Vampire, Lucy, as Ellen is called in the film, has prophetic nightmares of Dracula at the start of the film, establishing her supernatural powers before she senses him attacking her husband in Transylvania later on.